Greetings and welcome back to Eye of the Beholder, where we look at 20 years of Dungeons & Dragons miniatures, from the early tabletop WotC minis through 2023's WizKids miniatures. Today we'll continue reviewing the various Construct minis. We'll be looking at the Warforged today. Like other constructs, Warforged are created via powerful rituals. The comparison ends there, however, as they are born fully aware with emotions and mental capacities equal to other humanoid races. Originally created as soldiers, hence the name, they are difficult foes, both due to their proficiency in battle and their metal, skin. Originally appearing in 2004's Monster Manual 3, Warforged are mostly common in the Eberron campaign setting. As such, playability will be rated on the assumption that PCs are indeed adventuring in that setting. FYI, I'll be going in order of release, except for the two cases where both WotC and WizKids released versions of the same mini. We get our first two Warforged minis in 2004's Giants of Legend set. The first is this Warforged fighter. Pretty standard fighter pose. Ornate blade that is seemingly attached to the right wrist is up in a defensive position. The crouched body also looks defensive to me. For an early mini, there's a lot of detail here. Bolts and joints clearly defined, and a face that only an artificer could love. Paint is basic but well done, mostly metallic grays with copper highlights. Score: Paint 15, Pose 17, Playability 17, Pizzazz 15, for a score of 64. The second mini from this set is this Warforged Titan, designed to be the ultimate machine of war, and man, it looks it. With a huge maul on its right arm and a great axe on its left, it stands solidly on the base as if daring anyone to come forward. The same gunmetal gray as the previous mini, but with some nicely detailed copper wiring showing through on the arms, legs, and torso. Red eyes are a nice touch as well. Score: Paint 17, Pose 20, Playability 17, Pizzazz 18, for a score of 72. WizKids gives us their version of the Warforged Titan in 2021's Snowbound set. A much more kinetic mini than the WotC version, this guy is actively in a battle, tilted to his right as he slams his maul down. Amazing detail of the explosion of translucent blue on impact. Paint is also reversed, mostly copper with gray highlighting. Of the two, this is my favorite, and this is the one I'm using. Score: Paint 25, Pose 24, Playability 19, Pizzazz 25, for a score of 93. The 2004's Aberration set gives us the Warforged Hero, another amazingly well-detailed early mini. I especially like the detailing on the spiked shield and the ornate sword gripped, not part of, the right hand. Interesting facial expression as well. Paint is again two-tone gray and copper, with the copper used mostly to highlight certain details. Great mini. Score: Paint 22, Pose 20, Playability 20, Pizzazz 23, for a score of 85. Warforged are not limited to fighters. Meet the Warforged Wizards from 2005's Death Knell set. The exposed face, hands, and left leg show the standard gray body, but it's covered by a colorful cloak of red and orange. The pose denotes movement and energy, slightly crouched and about to bring his copper staff, surely magical, to bear. This is our only Warforged magic user, so if you need one, this is your only option. Score: Paint 19, Pose 18, Playability 21, Pizzazz 20, for a score of 78. We get a foursome of Warforged in 2006's War Drum set. First up is the Warforged Bodyguard, Our first left-handed Warforged, I'm a lefty, I notice these things. Using a hammer rather than a sword, he seems to be marching forward, weapon and shield ready but not yet poised for violence. Paint is standard Warforged, but with a nice touch of brown to denote the wooden shield and hammer handle. It's a solid mini. Score: Paint 18, Pose 17, Playability 18, Pizzazz 16, for a score of 69. Next up is the Warforged Captain. Unlike previous Warforged, this mini is a monochrome gray, which is unusual as you would expect a captain to have some detailing denoting rank or authority. Pose definitely has an aura of authority though, with left arm raised as if giving orders, right hand clutching a two-handed axe. Score: Paint 14, Pose 17, Playability 15, Pizzazz 14, for a score of 60. Next is the Warforged Scout, our only small Warforged, no doubt better for skulking about while scouting. Pose has him running in one direction while looking over his shoulder in another. He's obviously been discovered and is beating a hasty retreat. I like that he's apparently has two-handed fighting proficiency as well. Little guys need all the help they can get. Paint is, well, gray. Score: Paint 12, Pose 19, Playability 17, Pizzazz 14, for a score of 62. Our final War Drum Warforged, and the only rare from the set, is the Warforged Barbarian. This is an impressive miniature. Slightly bigger than the other Warforged, this guy is meant to be intimidating. Note the necklace of skulls around his neck. And I'm not sure what that is on his back, but it looks pretty badass. Pose completes the look, striding forward, sword at the ready. Like most, coloring is mostly gray, but with pops of brown and black, plus the white whatever on his back. Score: Paint 25, Pose 25, Playability 24, Pizzazz 24, for a score of 98. Later in 2006, we get a special Warforged in the Blood Wars set. Meet the Lord of Blades, a mysterious and messianic figure who is the ruler of the Mournland in Eberron. He preaches superiority of the Warforged race and advocates for supremacy over Eberron with the flesh-bound, slaughtered or subjugated. For all that, this mini is a little meh. Color: monochrome gray. Pose: nondescript. Although I do like the double sword though, Darth Maul would approve. Score: Paint 12, Pose 14, Playability 15, Pizzazz 13, for a score of 54. Now WizKids gets it. This is how to make an impressive Messiah. This Lord of Blades mini is, obviously, from 2020's Eberron Rising from the Last War set. I count 28 blades on this mini. Lord of Blades indeed. Paint is a two-tone silvery gray with golden highlights, again, very appropriate for the personage. Pose is also solid, slight tilt forward, all 28 blades displayed to their best, with the weapon swept behind his back, about to do some kung fu shit. Score: 100. Our next Warforged comes from 2008's Dungeons of Dread set. Called a Warforged Infiltrator, this would make for a perfect Warforged rogue. The gray body is covered with brown trousers and cloak, with only the chest visible. Black boots and crossbow complete the color palette. Pose is what you'd expect from an infiltrator, moving stealthily forward, crossbow up and ready to take out an unwary sentry. Score: Paint 15, Pose 16, Playability 21, Pizzazz 16, for a score of 68. Our next Warforged comes in 2008's Demon Web set. Called a Warforged Battle Champion, this mini offsets the metallic gray body with a dark blue kilt and cape, quite fashionable. We also get hints of brown at the joints and yellow eyes. Armed with a halberd, he seems to be moving forward with his body turned sideways to minimize his target profile, almost as if he's in a gladiatorial combat. Score: Paint 15, Pose 19, Playability 17, Pizzazz 17, for a score of 68. We get a pair of unusual Warforged miniatures in 2009's Player's Handbook Heroes Series 2. The first is this Warforged Artificer. There is quite a bit of detailing to unpack here. First off, that's quite an interesting backpack he has. It almost looks mechanical. He also has a belt that looks like it's holding potion bottles, as well as holding a potion bottle in his left hand and a wand in his right. Paint is standard Warforged with a pop of blue on the hood. Score: Paint 18, Pose 20, Playability 13, Pizzazz 15, for a score of 66. Our second hero is this Warforged Cleric. As the Warforged evolved, some got religion, worshipping the Sovereign Host or the Silver Flame. Clothed in earth tones, only his face would betray his race. He is posed with a hammer in one hand and, if you look closely enough, a golden holy symbol in the other. Not a particularly interesting mini pose-wise, but like the Warforged Wizard earlier, if you need a Warforged Cleric, this is your only option. Score: Paint 14, Pose 11, Playability 17, Pizzazz 12, for a score of 54. Our last Warforged minis, come from 2020's Eberron Rising from the Last War set. They're basically the same mini. The one with the brown cloak and sword is the common, the blue cloak / mace combo is the uncommon. Body and coloring is identical, more silver and gold than gray and copper, which I like. Pose is standard attack, shield up, weapon raised, body angled to strike. Interesting detail, they both have a sigil of some kind on their forehead. Score: Paint 16, Pose 13, Playability 15, Pizzazz 14, for a score of 58. And with that, we're done with the Warforged. I'm not really sure where I'll go construct-wise with the next video, which, by the way, will be delayed a bit as I'm going on vacation next week. As always, comments are welcome below. Thanks as always for watching Eye of the Beholder, and I'll see you all next month.